Welcome into a special State of Play recruiting edition. I wanted to touch on a topic that is going to become a hot button issue here in the next few months. Combines, clinics, third party combines, testing opportunities. These are going to start becoming really heavy in the next couple months, and even actually as we kind of leak into the spring and summer. This is something that I share with all my clients, all the schools that I work with through athletic recruiting, education, and navigation. But I wanted to share this piece here and provide any families, any administrators, any high school coaches the opportunity to listen about some thoughts that I have, provide a little bit of some free guidance, some free thoughts for you to consider as we go down these next couple months. In the last 10 years, you have seen a uptick back in third-party combines, in third-party camps, in third-party recruiting companies putting together these organizations or again camps and combines for kids to come in and test and develop, for them also to gain exposure. That's what I want to touch on now. As a high school coach, as an administrator, as a family or a prospect, I think there is one crucial piece of information you must get before you invest in one of these camps, combines, one of these testing days. Let me start out first by saying I am not against any third-party recruiting services, any of these combines. I'm not against them. Okay? I am for open facts and making sure that families and the prospect, have the facts in front of them so they know what is the value of said event. Okay, as I've been working with athletic recruiting, education, and navigation in the companies and the schools and the families that I work with, I do follow social media very closely, and I've noticed a couple of these camps and combines coming up. Legacy Center over in Michigan is hosting a combine in January. There's also one in Philadelphia coming up in January. Actually, the Michigan event is in December. Rising Stars is having a top 250 showcase. I talked with the group from The Line, a company that develops and gives an opportunity for exposure to offensive and defensive linemen. I have asked and challenged these companies on social media, not with the intention to put mud on their company, not with the intention to discredit them. In fact, only with the intention to make sure that families understand the value. When you are charging families for this event, all I simply want is for them to know the facts. And the biggest thing that I look at is when I see if there's going to be college coaches in attendance. And in fact, the Rising Stars, 250, top 250 underclassmen showcase does not state that. It talks only about media. So I have presented the question to Rising Stars about what is the value of that, and whatever their response is or will be is fine. I have presented the question to Legacy Center football recruiting about, they say college coaches in attendance, but who? I have presented the questions to The Line, offensive and defensive lineman training company that does provide exposure, about how do they provide value in recruiting, and they responded. They responded with some questions. You can go onto my Twitter feed and take a look at what they responded to, and I actually was very impressed with their response about how they do get that information out to college coaches, and having a response is good. Okay, so time of this filming, I'm still waiting for the Legacy Center to respond as far as their answer to what college coaches will be in attendance. You have conference logos, put on the flyer, but you don't have any individual colleges listed. I think that information is really important to a family, to a prospect to know. The worst thing that you can do as a prospect, as a family, and again, I'm also speaking kind of secondarily to the coaches and to the administrators, so make sure that you can advise your players appropriately, is to make sure that there's value when you go there. That if you're going to work out, you're going to put yourself in physical jeopardy, not like life and death, but I'm talking about pulling a hamstring, putting yourself in a position where you may have to sit out the basketball season or miss wrestling because of this combine you go to. That's a real thing, that the value is there. Okay, now if you're going to spend $65, $85 and you are going there under the assumption that you are going to be evaluated live and in person, I think it is really important for families to be told, who exactly am I going to be evaluated from? Now, if you don't care about money, if $65 or $85 or $800 does not matter to you, then that's fine. Okay, I have some beachfront property in Siberia I'd love to sell you as well too. Okay, but the reality is any form of money that you are investing in, you should know the facts up front. Okay, and if that then matches up with what you're looking for, have at it. Go to the Legacy Combine, go to the Rising Stars Top 250 Showcase, which is an invite, by the way. That's new to me. I wasn't familiar with that. Okay, go work out with The Line, the O&D Line company that works with offensive and defensive linemen. Okay, but until you have all those facts, it is imperative you ask those questions. And I would strongly encourage any family, any coach, any administrators to be very cautious about where you send these prospects. Okay, again, we may sit here and say only $65 or only $85, but what is that exposure and recruiting benefit that you won't get at a college camp? That you won't get when you just stroll onto campus at Central Michigan or at the University of Pittsburgh or Duquesne or here in front of the Badger staff when you're right at Camp Randall working out in their facility at a camp in the summer. Those are the questions that I am proposing to these companies, and their answers, there is no right or wrong. Looking for an answer is all that I'm looking for. So again, this is just some free information. And again, what it comes down to is two things. Number one, if you just want to go and you just want to ball, that's fine. Go. Then the value and the cost and the recruiting questions are irrelevant. If you just want to go, hey, Dan, I just want to compete. I just want to go out there and test myself. I want to go out there. I don't care what I'm doing. I don't care where I end up. I just want to go and I want to run a 40 and I want to do a pro agility. That's great. Some of these organizations at these events are also offering recruiting guidance. Awesome. If that's what you're looking for, again, make sure that they're providing the right guides. I don't know what they teach. I don't know what they understand or know about the process. I'm not involved in that. But if that's what you're looking to get out of this, have at it. Have a great time, have a really good experience, and make sure you're writing stuff down, taking notes. But if you are going to go to one of these events on the assumption that there will be a recruiting benefit there because of college coaches being in attendance, you need to ask who is going to be here, because who is going to be there drastically changes how I would advise you, or I think anybody who really understands the recruiting process would advise you if there's value to it or not. Okay, so as you're looking at these events coming up, because they're coming back into the vernacular of recruiting the last 10 years. They kind of faded off about 15 years ago, and then they kind of came back. And I have concerns that people are playing on the emotion that college coaches will be there and this is your chance to be evaluated. I don't agree with that. Okay, if you are going to put on a flyer that college coaches will be in attendance, who exactly am I going to work out for? Okay, when I work with clients and I work with programs with athletic recruiting, education, and navigation, it is unique. One program may have a different approach on the value than another program. One prospect may have a different approach on the value than another prospect. One position may have a different approach on the value than another position. There is a uniqueness in this that I provide to schools, coaches and players/families about whether you need this or not. If that's what you're looking for, then call me. We can have a discussion about whether maybe working with me or looking for some extra help is of value to you. But when you are looking at these third-party combines that are starting to become more popular and they're going to be popping up all over the map and probably on your radar in the next 5 or 6 months as the season wraps up and colleges are done, that middle time between your season as a 23 prospect and actual college camps, this is a big time to look at value. So parents, families, coaches, and administrators, please make sure you are getting the facts before you invest any amount of money into a third-party combine. Understanding the value, and if they are selling you on college coaches present, then you need to be asking which college coaches will be present. Who has confirmed? Now, if a college coach confirms and doesn't show up, that's on them. You can't hold that against somebody else. That's on the college program. Okay, but if a college coach has confirmed, that third-party service should be able to respond to you exactly who is going to be there, and you can look at it for value. If they are not promoting college coaches being live and in attendance, you must ask, how is this going to benefit me from a recruiting standpoint? If they have an answer for you, let's talk about it. That's great. The fact they even have an answer, I think, is a really good step in the right direction as far as their legitimacy. If they are a valid, good program that might be able to benefit you. So make sure that you ask those questions. It's my biggest concern when it comes to these. This is free advice. I talk to all my schools, all my clients that I work with on a much more unique, in-depth basis. But from a standpoint of general, you have to ask the question of value when it comes to recruiting, what you will take away from a third-party recruiting combine or clinic. So again, if anybody has any questions, reach out to me at getaren.com. That's GETAREN.com. And I look forward to being able to educate you and give you some great insight and thoughts on whether or not this combine, this clinic, this recruiting event will be right for you. Have a great day. I look forward to hearing from you.